Germany, one of the most powerful nations in the world, is facing an immigration crisis so intense, it's changing the fabric of its society. Imagine watching a country's identity evolve right in front of your eyes. The numbers? Absolutely staggering. But the story behind those numbers? Even more jaw-dropping. What if I told you that this isn't just about borders or laws? It's about real people, real struggles, and real impact. Is Germany on the verge of default? Or is its prime minister planning any new policy regarding immigrants? Let's take you inside Germany's immigration crisis, where politics and humanity collide in a way you never expected. Deportation flights, planes carrying men back to a place from where once they had sought refuge, had dropped a bombshell on its immigrants.
I
want to go to the UK because I'm afraid of deportation in Germany. Already they try to deport me, and that's why I left.
It all started on this gray Friday morning when Germany resumed sending rejected asylum seekers back to Afghanistan. This hadn't happened since the Taliban returned to power in 2021.
We begin with something that hasn't happened here in years: deportation flights from Germany to Afghanistan. On Friday, Germany resumed deporting rejected asylum seekers to Afghanistan. For the first time since the Taliban retook power back in 2021, a flight with convicted Afghan offenders took off bound for Kabul. The renewed deportations come as the German government faces pressure to crack down on migration after a fatal knife rampage last week.
But this time, something shocking happened. The plane held convicted Afghan offenders, which showed the world about Germany's growing struggle with its immigration crisis.
Merkel's decision to allow 1 million, mainly Syrian refugees, into the country back in 2015.
Years ago, Germany's Prime Minister Angela Merkel welcomed refugees from all over the world with open arms. But now, the winds have shifted, and a storm has hit the country. A country that once celebrated its open-door policy finds itself closing off, confronted with challenges it never expected.
I walk from Serbia to Hungary, and I walk from Macedonia to Serbia, and I walk from
Hungary to...
You walk from Hungary here?
Tomorrow. A lot of yeah, we're so tired, and don't sleep from 3 days or 4 days.
Germany's streets, which once bustled with a sense of international welcome, have turned cold for many seeking refuge. Consequently, the nation's population is increasingly divided, which has led to its government being under political strain, and the once hopeful atmosphere is now weighed down by uncertainty. The public has shared divided stances. Some say it's the necessary course of action. In contrast, others see it as a betrayal of Europe's humanitarian values. The issue was fueled when Germany's immigration numbers staggered to over 3 million refugees that live within its borders. For years, this vast arrival has been reshaping the social landscape. While diversity was once seen to be a strength, it is now often represented to be the root of many problems. The main problem was integration, which seemed more complicated than anyone expected. As a result, the public's patience has worn thin, and political tension is rising like floodwaters after a storm. Moreover, far-right groups which once stayed on the fringes now find themselves in the spotlight. They point fingers at refugees, claiming that the fabric of German society is being torn apart.
When German authorities failed to prevent thousands of far-right activists from rampaging through the city in the wake of a stabbing that left a German man dead last weekend.
This sentiment has gained attention, feeding on fears and frustrations that have been boiling under the surface for a long time. Therefore, recent deportations, especially of those convicted of crimes, have ignited heated debates and brought even more tension to a country that's already at its breaking point. For many, this isn't just a political issue, but a deeply personal one. Families who came to Germany hoping for a new start now live in fear. Furthermore, communities are becoming more fragmented. With the mounting pressure, Germany's leaders are caught in a delicate balancing act between ensuring public safety and fulfilling their humanitarian obligations.
Here in Germany, the government is meeting this week to discuss new measures to more easily deport migrants whose asylum application was rejected or who have been convicted of certain crimes. It's a controversial topic in some areas of Germany.
But these efforts haven't calmed the growing unrest. Each new deportation and tightened regulation only seems to deepen the divide. On the other hand, a deadly knife attack in Singen by a Syrian asylum seeker set the nation on edge once more and sparked debates over the risks posed by immigrants. This incident laid bare a reality many Germans fear, that their country's once welcoming borders have become a gateway for violence. The backlash has been fierce. New laws are being drafted to cut financial aid to asylum seekers, and deportations are set to rise.
I came here because of war, and I want to have a safe life here.
I'm 100% confident that all the young people here in this centre are tired of the living conditions and the security situation back home. I'm from Syria, and there I wouldn't be able to just stop and speak with you. It's forbidden.
Even those who committed minor offenses now risk being sent back to war-torn regions like Afghanistan. It's a grim fate for many, especially when faced with the possibility of torture or death upon return. Amnesty International has been vocal in its opposition, condemning these deportations to be violations of international law. But for some in Germany, the cry for security drowns out the call for compassion. What do you think about the broken promises made by the German government? Was the human cost of these policies immeasurable? Families are torn apart, and people are sent back to countries they no longer recognize. The country, once seen as a refuge from war and terror, is now a land of uncertainty for many asylum seekers. Furthermore, legal obstacles have only worsened the situation, with over 227,000 people being ordered to leave but unable to due to bureaucratic delays. As a result, these delays affect not just the refugees but also the German public. Meanwhile, with over 500,000 asylum applications still waiting to be processed, faith in the government's ability to manage the situation is rapidly eroding. Hence, people feel like the system is breaking down, and now this feeling has turned into anger, which is dangerous when fanned by political winds. The reactions from all over the world were deep. Still, no group has felt the strain of Germany's immigration debate more deeply than its Muslim population. They comprise over 6% of the country's residents, with roots stretching across Turkey, the Middle East, and North Africa. Yet, despite decades of presence, unity was always a sore spot. Thus, many in the Muslim community face steep challenges, from higher unemployment rates to a growing emotion of alienation. Now, the anti-Muslim sentiment is creeping further into public discourse, with far-right parties like Alternative for Germany, AfD, openly calling for policies that sideline these communities.
It's all gone down the drain anyway. Why not just give them a chance and let the AfD have a go? We can't sink any lower anyway, no matter which party. The SPD has had its turn and they've screwed up. Now it's the AfD's turn and now the AfD can give it a shot. We can't sink any lower.
Furthermore, according to some reports, the incidents of violence involving Muslim men are frequently mentioned to be evidence that their presence is a threat, reinforcing negative stereotypes and fostering division. Even longtime German residents now feel like outsiders in their own neighborhoods. Apart from this, Germany's decision to partially ban face coverings in public has been a particularly bitter pill for many. What once might have been seen to be a harmless personal choice is now at the heart of a cultural debate about what it means to be German. For some, the growing visibility of Islamic practices is seen to be incompatible with secular values, deepening the gap between communities. This rise of the AfD signals a dangerous turn towards nationalism and exclusion. Therefore, the mainstream parties, once firm in their commitment to a balanced immigration policy, are feeling the pressure. CDU leader Friedrich Merz has suggested abolishing the right to asylum altogether, which has ignited violent controversy. Conversely, Chancellor Olaf Scholz is also facing an uphill battle, since he's trying to balance the country's international obligations and the growing demands for tighter immigration controls. In doing so, he risks isolating both sides of the debate.
I had announced that we would also deport offenders back to Afghanistan. We have prepared this carefully without talking about it too much, because such plans only succeed if you make an effort, if you do it carefully and very discreetly.
Everyone knows that the political stakes couldn't be higher, and the future of Germany's immigration policy hangs in the balance. It's easy to forget, amidst all the political conflicts, that we're talking about people, mothers, fathers, children, who left everything behind in search of safety. Germany's immigration crisis isn't just about numbers or policies. It's about human lives caught in the middle of a system fastening under the weight of its promises. Right now, many dreams are fading. As the country hardens its stance on immigration, the question starts to overtake your mind. What happens to those who fall through the cracks? Well, if you find this video interesting, then give it a thumbs up, and be sure to share your views in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for the latest world politics and news.